Hello and welcome back to another episode of Reigning and Defending. I am your host, Isaac William Joesph, who brings you anything related to sports, news, takes, anything of that matter every other week for the Reigning and Defending podcast. And today, when you host once every other week and when you record far out ahead enough, you miss big news, and you fail to report big news in any sort of soon manner because of the schedule. With that said, this is the first time that Scaldstone Productions, at least, is acknowledging the Demar Hamlin situation. Thank goodness I actually thought about doing something earlier. Do I do like a solo episode early? Do I do a bonus? Do I do something? But then it's like, I'd rather not address it until something, one way or the other, had blown over. I did address it personally on my personal Facebook. I've expressed personal prayer and encouragement in any sort of way I could online. Before I say anything else, this episode goes out to Demar Hamlin and the amazing story that has quickly come to be. For those of you who don't know Demar Hamlin, for those of you who are like, oh, I only listen to this podcast for basketball, which would be really weird because we've only tapped on basketball a couple of times. But he collapsed on the ground, almost out of nowhere, really. And, apparently, everybody listening probably knows what had happened. But as I'm speaking now, man, just left the hospital today, I think. And that is really awesome. Today, as in Tuesday, January 10th. That is awesome. How a man can go to needing CPR, needing his stomach flipped so it's easier on his lungs, to being able to FaceTime his family, his teammates, watch the football game, and post Instagram posts, tweet out tweets and stuff like that. And it's really, really awesome. You'll love to see it. It's one of those things. And probably one of the best storylines, not just in sports, but in life. And yeah, really, really awesome that he is doing good. And if he gets back on the football field one day, I feel like that is nothing short of a miracle. So yeah, props to Demar Hamlin for, I don't know, kicking ass. So yeah, I just wanted to get that out of the way first and foremost before I get into anything at all. With that said, the season has finally come to an end. We just finished week 18. Y'all haven't seen me since predicting week 17, and we are on a roll here. I guess that brings me to say, out of all my picks that I made throughout the season, I come to a final record of 56 and 31. Kind of funny. That's a pretty good record, but I honestly thought I'd do a little bit better. But yeah, 56 and 31 for all the games that I had to pick. Really wanted to be sub 30 for the wrong picks, but it is what it is. Next segment. I have in my notes, it says, I hate Aaron Rodgers. And I don't hate a lot of people. Maybe I don't even hate Aaron Rodgers. But holy shit, is that man dislikable, unlikable. By the season, he has been a little bit less tolerating for me. Back in the day, I really didn't care. My dad, he was always so expressive about the teams that he didn't like, and he didn't like the teams like the Vikings and the Packers, which is really weird because he's like a 49ers fan, and he doesn't dislike the Seahawks and the Rams. And oh man, I'm always blanking on whatever. He doesn't. Okay, so like he's obviously competitive with the other teams in his division, but and the Cardinals, but like he doesn't like hate them the way he hates the Packers and the Vikings. I don't know why, but he just always has, and I just didn't get it. So like I mean, for me, I had nothing against the Packers other than how boring they are. Although your name is the Packers, and you're green and yellow, and cool, I guess. Your symbol is a G. I don't know. I just found them very boring aesthetically, and that's the full extent of how much I disliked them. They just weren't entertaining for me. I had never discredited Aaron Rodgers as a quarterback until this year. Of course, he's going to be a Hall of Famer. Of course, he's probably going to have records that will sit in Lambeau for a very, 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 very long time. But I don't like him for fantasy-related reasons and maybe real-life character reasons. See, there was that stint in the middle of the season where Christian Watson had, I don't know, he had like 7 touchdowns in the span of 3 games, and he was on a roll. And then there was like there's this storyline of how can Aaron Rodgers say that he never gets any help, you know, especially in a season like this. How can he say that he never gets any help when Christian Watson, if he had kept that streak up, he might have been Rookie of the Year, Offensive Rookie of the Year. But I feel like Aaron Rodgers stopped Christian Watson's steam on purpose. There was that game where I don't think he had thrown to Christian Watson almost at all. They won. I forgot who it was against, but they won. And Aaron Rodgers got asked after the game, he's like, about Christian Watson. He's like, if you want to catch touchdowns, you got to run the right routes. And then he said that with a smile and he laughed. And it's like, you asshole. Aaron Rodgers definitely wanted a couple games where the Green Bay Packers looked good, and it wasn't because he was thrown to Christian Watson. Same goes for the game after that, and same goes for basically the rest of the season after that game. It was absolutely ridiculous. Aaron Rodgers wanted to look good and try to win them a playoff spot, but thank the freaking Lord, Jordan Van Cleve's Detroit Lions kicked their ass, bro. Good job, Kirby. Oh, I got to tell Jordan about Kirby picking off Aaron Rodgers 3 times in a game. Apparently, that's never happened. So yeah, shout out to him. Shout out to the Lions. Oh my goodness, dude. So many of us wanted the Lions to go to the playoffs. And, you know, sure, they could have won that game against the Panthers, but they just keeled over for that one. And maybe a couple shootouts throughout the year. If they had gone their way, they could have gotten in. But, you know, if the Lions carry that momentum into next season, they are a freaking shoo-in to go to the playoffs. And as a Raiders fan, I am excited to see that. Being a friend of a couple Lions fans that so deserve it. But yeah, Aaron Rodgers, I don't like you because I also had Christian Watson on my fantasy team. And yeah, he scored 2 points in the championship game that I was having, and then I lost. But also, Jair Alexander, he also was covering Justin Jefferson, who I also had. And so Justin Jefferson had 2 points. I had the best wide receiver in the league score 2 points, and I had Christian Watson score 2 points, and that's what basically kicked my ass for the Super Bowl fantasy championship. This is a little bit petty, and I promise I'm a little over it, But as soon as I put this into a video where I'm bashing Aaron Rodgers because I don't like him anymore, in fact, I do not like him at all. I mean, I like Jair Alexander. I like Alexander. He's fun. He's a really good corner. I love really good corners. But man, that was the wrong game to do that, bro. But anyways, yeah, I have nothing but the Green Bay Packers to blame for losing not one, but both playoff championship wins in my fantasy leagues. Anyways, that's it. That's all I'm going to say. Aaron Rodgers, I hope you retire. I'm not going to miss you at all. This is hard to say considering that my girlfriend's a Packers fan. But, you know, she thinks his time is done in Green Bay anyways. So, yeah, sorry, Aaron. You might be a cool guy to hang out with. I don't know. But you're a little conceited and an asshole. And you think you're perfect. And you're the reason why people win. And you're not. Not anymore, at least. Sorry. Start acting a little bit more humble. And I hope you get humbled wherever you fucking go. At least if you go to a different team after this. But anyways. Next segment. Playoff predictions. Yes. Playoff predictions. Let me get down to my computer. Actually, no. I'm not going to do that. I got a computer on my phone. We are going... So, yeah. NFL playoffs. So, congratulations to the Kansas City Chiefs, the Jacksonville Jaguars, the Los Angeles Chargers, the Cincinnati Bengals, the Baltimore Ravens, the Miami Dolphins, the Buffalo Bills, the Seattle Seahawks, the Philadelphia Eagles, the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. I still can't believe that. Sorry. Dallas Cowboys, Minnesota Vikings, New York Giants, and San Francisco 49ers. Ooh, baby. Congratulations to all of you guys for making the NFL 2023 playoffs. This is you know, I really like that they added another game, and I really like that they added another seed. A lot of people can disagree, but honestly, it makes things so freaking interesting. Maybe there's just too many teams not trying Week 18, because, you know, playoff clinches. Sometimes the only thing that matters is seeds, and if those don't matter, then the game doesn't matter if they've already clinched the playoffs. And so that's like really the only downside to Week 18. But sometimes those are make it or break it. You know, we had that wonderful Detroit Lions Green Bay Packers game. Yes, I say that again. Detroit Lions, good job for kicking Aaron Rodgers in the freaking ass. So, yeah, the Raiders, they didn't make it to the freaking playoffs, you know. I didn't think we were going to make the playoffs since week freaking 4. So, yeah. But yeah, let's get into it. So, let's take a look at a couple of these things. I just want to think about... I'm only doing this every other week, except for the Super Bowl, no matter what week that lands on. You know what? I'll talk about it at the end of the episode. So, let's see what we got. We have the Dolphins at the 7th seed facing the Bills, the 2nd seed. Damn! An AFC East matchup. I mean, if Tua's not ready, he's not ready. I feel like regardless on if Tua plays or not, if the Dolphins don't have Tua, they're losing. if the Dolphins don't have a 100% Tua, they're losing. Congratulations to the Dolphins for having a promising future. But I don't know. I don't want to join the memes when I say you got to fix your concussion protocols. But honestly, that is a problem that is probably going to be a consistent thing. And I hope that it is not, every single time a concussion happens to someone, it gets worse. You really don't want that, especially with a great player like Tua. I believe that Tua can have an amazing career, but I don't think you make him play that playoff game if he's not ready. 100% ready. With that said, I think by default, I think the Buffalo Bills are just going to waltz in there, be pissed off that they didn't get the first seed because, of Demar Hamlin reasons. And kick ass. Yeah. Especially if they don't have Tua. If they don't have Tua, that is going to be one of the most boring playoff games to watch. But I'll probably still watch it because I think Bills football is really fun to watch. And then the other games in the AFC. Why is my fucking phone like that? Oh my god. We have the Ravens versus the Bengals. Bengals hosting, obviously, as the 3rd seed. Ravens are the 6th seed. Bengals handled the Ravens in Week 18. It was almost like routine. It was just nothing entertaining. I don't know what the status is on Lamar. Let me just real quick look this up. Is Lamar coming back for the playoffs? Lamar Jackson told people he thinks he'll be back. Well, that ought to at least make it interesting. But honestly, being an LSU fan, you know what? Let me grab my hat real quick. Yo, Joe Shiesty, bro. Jamar Chase, bro. Okay, that's the best duo in the league right now, bro. I got you all day, LSU all day. Okay, Bengal gonna win in 4 quarters. With that said, Bengals, bro. Who they? Or no, is it who they or who that? I get them mixed up, with the Saints. Doesn't matter to me. But yeah, Bengals. I picked Bengals. I just don't think that the Ravens have what it takes to go deep. And I think the Bengals have what it takes to go deep, obviously. Yeah, I think the Bengals can go after what they wanted last year. And honestly, I feel like the only team that can knock off what the Chiefs, the Bills, and Bengals are doing is either the Eagles or the Niners. That might be a spoiler on who I'm going to be taking in these conference championships. But I think the only way that the NFC is going to win the Super Bowl this year is if the Eagles or the Niners go. It can't be anybody else. With that said, yeah, who's next on these plays? Oh yeah, Chargers at Jaguars. Ooh, now this might be actually one of the more entertaining wild card games because these it's the 4th best division winner versus the best it's the worst division winner versus the best wild card team. That is fun. I don't know. I think oh man, Trevor Lawrence did not look good in week 18. Oh man. It would be very Chargers of the Chargers to lose week 1 against the Jaguars. This is honestly quite possibly the biggest toss-up in the whole wild card weekend. Maybe, I don't know. I got to remind myself of who's playing on the other side. Yeah, the biggest toss-up of this whole shebang, bro. Yeah, I mean, maybe the Vikings and Giants, but screw it. I think if the Chargers wide receivers are not healthy, which I think they are, but if they're not, I think the Chargers are really going to struggle. I mean, that's been apparent the whole entire time. Trevor Lawrence has been working with, I don't know, guys like Zay Jones at wide receiver. Zay Jones is not bad. I've already credited him 2 weeks ago when I say that the Raiders shouldn't have dropped him. But if Zay Jones is like one of your best wide receivers, you got problems. I'm not going to lie, but you got problems, even though I believe Zay Jones is a really good number 1 if he had to be. But I don't know. I guess I'm on the fence with Zay Jones. But all I'm saying is I think Trevor Lawrence needs more credit than Justin Herbert when it comes to what he has to work with. You know, the Chargers got plastered as Super Bowl champions of 2023 after signing, after signing, after signing, after trade, after draft, after trade, after all this stuff. And this is their time to prove it, actually. With that said, I'm going to actually say, I mean, the Chargers don't really have too much draft or playoff experience, but the Jaguars don't have playoff experience at all. That's a completely different team since 2017. And I think they're overall just younger than the Chargers. So I think with more veterans on the Chargers than the Jaguars, I'm going to have to pick the Chargers. But I would be damn happy to see the Jaguars make some sort of playoff run. I think that would be fun. But for now, I think the Chargers have this one based on experience alone. We go on the other side to the NFC. Seahawks at 49ers. I'll tell you what, even Pete Carroll's not excited to face the 49ers. He said, unfortunately, they have to face the 49ers in the wild card. But hey, can we give the Seahawks props for making it this far, actually? You know, they were counted out, bro. They were projected to have automatically lost that trade because they gave Russell Wilson to the Broncos. And yet, Geno Smith is now the passing yards leader in a season for the Seattle Seahawks. I know it's 17 games, but you got to think about this. I know it's 17 games, but for prime passing Russell Wilson and Geno Smith to be one game apart, okay? I'm not even talking about the extra game, but to be one game apart in the record, good job, Geno. Good job, Geno, bro. You had a great season. I hope I hope you get re-signed or at least have a starting job somewhere else. I believe in you. And get your bag, at least some sort of bag. I think that needs to be said. Geno, you did a damn good job this year, bro. With that said, you're gonna get smashed. You're gonna get smashed by the 49ers, and it's not your guys' fault. 49ers stumbled upon Brock Purdy, and I promise you, Brock Purdy, he's not like a Maserati or anything, but he has been the game manager. He just says yes sir to Coach Shanahan, and he just does it. You know, the average of 200 something yards, 2 touchdowns a game, you know, and even better in some games. he's good. He's not great. Maybe with time he'll be great. But he is exactly what the 49ers need right now, especially losing Trey Lance, especially losing Jimmy Garoppolo. Brock Purdy from Iowa State is getting it done in San Francisco. And I'm really excited to see what they can do in the playoffs. They can go far. They can go really far. On to the next. We got Giants, Vikings. Giants and Vikings. Vikings just barely beat the New York Giants just a couple weeks ago. I think I'm looking at a graphic right now. No, that's week 17. But in week 16, wait for it. Yeah, in week 16, the Giants lost to the Vikings 27-24. Now, that is a close game. That is a field goal game. But maybe that's just, it has to come down to who's at home. And Minnesota's at home again. It's weird. The Giants got to go back to Minnesota 3 weeks later. That is weird. But wow. That is literally quite the toss-up again. It's funny how it's not the Dallas Cowboys and the Buccaneers. I feel like that's less of a toss-up. But Minnesota and the New York Giants. Wow. Oh man. If I pick any team, it's for personal reasons. Honestly, let's go Minnesota. It would be the most embarrassing thing in the world for you to have such a season and then lose at home first round of the playoffs. Please don't do this to yourself. Don't do this to yourself, okay? The division was given to you on a silver platter, but you didn't even need it because you went 12-4. Or no. Probably 13-4 or 12-5. I haven't really checked. But you freaking earned it. You really did. Don't embarrass yourself. Minnesota, don't embarrass yourself. You do this. Make a statement. Get people off your ass about how fraudulent you are. Okay? I want the Minnesota Vikings to win simply because y'all will be talked about for being the biggest cock tease for a long time. Next game. Dallas Cowboys host. No. No, they don't. Oh my goodness. Dallas Cowboys go to Tampa Bay to face the Buccaneers, who won the NFC South. Wow. Ooh. Good job beating out the Panthers, the Saints, and the fucking Falcons, Tampa Bay. But anyways, is playoff Brady... Does playoff Brady still exist? I don't know. Honestly, I think depending on how this playoff game goes, he's not going to retire, but it probably should determine whether or not he does retire. If he looks lousy in this game, he probably should retire. But for personal petty reasons, you just got divorced, get a few years in there while you're single, while you have to make it worth it, you know. But yeah, let's do I have the Cowboys even the record by winning this one? The Cowboys are so famous at losing in the playoffs, but the Cowboys have proven to win playoff games as of recent. Okay? There was this huge joke that the Cowboys couldn't win a playoff game. Well, lo and behold, the Cowboys, since Dak, have won quite a few. And you know what? Tom Brady, I'm sorry. Tampa Bay, I'm sorry. Dallas Cowboys are going to win this one. They're going to even the score. I just feel like Dallas is just more capable of scoring touchdowns than Tampa Bay. And we can't even look at week 1. We can't look at that week 1 game because you know what you're supposed to do in football? You know what I learned playing football every single year? You should be a shit ton better of a team than you were week 1. And I know that should be the same story for every single team. Okay, obviously Tampa Bay should be a better team than they were week 1. But guess what? That was not the playoff team Tampa Bay Buccaneers, and it's still not the playoff team Tampa Bay Buccaneers. This is the I struggle to score touchdowns Tampa Bay Buccaneers. And I know a couple weeks ago Tampa Bay scored 3 touchdowns with Mike Evans, and that was really impressive. But I don't think you're going to be able to do that against the Cowboys. With all these memes about the Dallas Cowboys, they do have a defense. Okay, Dallas is not going to let you score. They're not going to let you score. They have one of the best defenses in the league still. With an offense that has been so inconsistent on the Tampa Bay team, and with a Dallas Cowboys team that has proven that they can beat the best team, or the best recorded team in the league, the Philadelphia Eagles. You know, they got even with the Eagles. Yes, it was with Gardner Minshew, but they also lost when they had Cooper Rush. The Dallas Cowboys had lost when they had Cooper Rush. But, I mean, Dak probably isn't leaps and bounds better than Cooper Rush, but he is a better quarterback. All I'm really saying is, I think the Cowboys have more impressive wins than the Tampa Bay Buccaneers with the slim amount of wins that they have. So that would bring you into the second round of the the Cowboys would face the Eagles in the second round, and the Vikings would face the 49ers in the second round. Wow. The 49ers would host the Vikings. Well, considering that you're probably not going to see my ass for 2 more weeks, let's predict that. 49ers are going to beat the Vikings. And damn, the Eagles and the Cowboys, that ought to be a damn good game. You know what? This is my freaking podcast. That's a toss-up game. We'll freaking get there when we cross it. Go Eagles. I don't know. Well, let's do Eagles. I only say Eagles because so many times in like the last few years, the last undefeated team doesn't do well in the playoffs, which is really ironic because like you had the Steelers, a few years ago, and then the 49ers, they went undefeated for a while last year. Or no, not last year, but a few years ago when they went to that when they went to the Super Bowl, right? And they lost in the Super Bowl. And I don't know, there has not been a team that has gone the longest without losing, and then they won the Super Bowl. That just hasn't happened in a long time. With that said, Eagles, for the sake of breaking history, did just win. But that would bring the Buffalo Bills to host the Bengals, and the Chiefs to face the the Chargers to face the Kansas City Chiefs. The Chiefs are going to be the Chargers, and that Bills-Bengals game is honestly a toss-up. For history purposes, I want the Bills in that one. I'm not going to be picking any further in the future than that. Obviously, if I'm wrong on any of those games, obviously the bracket doesn't matter past the fucking second round. Or even on the second round. So, with that said, that's my picks. It's been 34 minutes. I guess it's a good time to start saying it now. I want to... It's still in the works, and I still needed to talk with my boys about it. But for the Reigning and Defending podcast, and actually the whole Scald Stone family, that's Jordan, Dustin, honorary person, Mason, Soren, Eli, maybe Hannah, and maybe a few friends and family of those said people. We want to have a watch party, a live stream, or maybe just a bonus episode, or just an all-together episode, because, you know, we are not going to be together often, all three, Eli, Soren, and I, for many of these episodes. We want to do something special for the Super Bowl. So, yeah, that's just in there for that. Expect something big for the Super Bowl. That's all I can say right now. But that has been my takes. Thank you for, coming with me to wrap up the 2022 NFL season, the 102nd season of all time. Yeah, this has been the Reigning and Defending podcast with Isaac William Joesph. Thank you, and we'll see you in 2 weeks with me.